80 to 90% of our thinking is useless and negative.
Hi guys!
Hello!
Thank you for listening to A Millennial Mess podcast. This week's episode is super power pack with Eckhart Tolle, the power of now.
Now.
Learning to free your mind, free yourself from your mind, not free your mind. Free yourself from your mind.
Being at the moment.
Being in the present and watching the thinker, which is your mind. Okay, what's all these woo-woo concepts? Just continue to watch till the end and understand of what is the power of now. You can apply this to your daily life and you will feel happier.
Yay!
Right, let's listen. Hi everyone!
Hello everybody!
Welcome to another episode of
A Millennial Mess.
My name is Deniece.
And I'm Jade.
And today we are discussing a really exciting topic. But before that, we want to give a shout out to Audix. Audix is a dinosaur from our image. No, it's not a dinosaur, it's real. Audix is a microphone from our image. No, it's not imagination, it's real.
Audix is a microphone that exists today.
We want to thank Audix for supporting us every episode with their microphone.
Yeah.
It's super sexy.
It sounds great.
It sounds great. I
Thank
love all our
you.
past podcast recordings. So if you hear a difference, right, it's probably the Audix microphone.
Yes.
So if you guys want to get any microphones for your podcast, for your recording studio at home, for singing live, for recording drums or any instruments, check out the range of microphones by Audix. And if you want to buy through us. Thank you.
DM us.
DM us.
Yes.
Okay, what are we discussing today, Jade?
We are discussing the power of now.
Okay, Jade and I are not bookworms, okay, but this usually when we find something interesting, whether it's a juicy news or something that can help us grow, we will share with each other. Just have new insights, new thoughts,
perspectives.
Yeah, because if we don't move forward, right, we will move back and then we will just shrivel and die.
Or we will be stuck.
Yeah, that's the worst place to be in, feeling like there's no way out and
is
stuck. Yeah.
being stuck worse or moving backwards worse?
I think moving backwards is
It's
worse.
worse, right?
Yeah, because, well, I guess maybe it's like, both.
Yeah.
Have you watched that show that they
Move backwards?
Not move back, but they show the end of the person's life and then it goes back all the way to the person. When
The
was
Benjamin
baby.
Button.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not the title of the movie. Is
It is.
Okay. I thought the actor's name is Benjamin Button.
No, the actor's name is I cannot remember suddenly, but Brad Pitt.
I tell you, I always get confused with Brad Pitt and Leo. I think they look
Leonardo
the same.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, I think they look the same. Only when I
No
imagine
lah.
Titanic, then I can think Leo. So I want to say, right, that today I haven't slept. So please encourage me. Please encourage. I need your encouragement.
Only motivation that Deniece can hear now is from me lah. So I represent the whole universe.
Yes. Okay, let me know how I did for this episode. Whether it was good enough for you guys or, next time I should just sleep first.
Do you all think that it's a whack? Like we're just anyhow talking nonsense?
Yeah.
Or like it's, enriching your brain, like opening up your mind. Yeah, whichever.
Okay,
Tell us.
so let us know, okay? So if you have read this book, which is an Amazon top seller, it is about enlightenment and it's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle. Okay, you see? Can somebody correct us? I went to check different pronunciations. All of them pronounce it differently. So is it Eckhart Tolle? Eckhart Tolle?
So
yeah.
This guy is super powerful, okay?
Yeah.
If you read this book, it will change your life. And I first got exposed to this book because of my therapist, and she was just giving me a summary of the first chapter, which took almost 45 minutes. And from then which was about almost a month ago until now, I just felt like my mindset has been changed. And when I practice the power of now, I stopped. Okay, I won't say I stopped getting anxiety, but that I realized for the last 3 months, I've been getting triggers, and suddenly things that used to trigger me no longer trigger me as much. Previously, when I heard Dan's podcast from Lito, he was saying that it takes a lot now, right, to trigger him after so many years of him going through the trauma. So I was thinking, when can I ever reach that stage?
It'll
to-
take time lah.
Yeah, to not get triggered by something that used to trigger me. I mean, everyone have trigger points, right? And then, like for some people, a lot of times it's family. For me, it's work. So, I was just wondering, like, when will I ever reach that? And I feel like after practicing this book for like a few. I don't consciously like wake up every day and go like I want to be enlightened, right? But like I consciously catch myself thinking about certain things, or I consciously practice being in the now, which we will explain later. And I realized that when people try to trigger me, right, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And I didn't expect myself to feel that way. I thought like I expected myself to get triggered. So what is this with this whole power of now? Jade and I will be sharing our insights from our reading. I say we're not bookworms. We just skim through the summaries and watch lots of YouTube videos on what this book is about and the learning points. Okay, so these are things that have jumped out to us, and we hope that there's something that you can take away from today's podcast, today's episode, that will help you cope with either fear or anxiety or life in general.
Overthinking. Yeah, because they talk about that. Yeah.
Knowing about yourself, self-awareness, which is the first step to enlightenment. Okay, Jade, do you want to go first? Do you want to share with us like?
Yeah, I mean, like I was just because I was trying to read the book. So as a kid, I don't really like to read, which is not very good. You know, I just read what I needed to read for like school or whatever. And also interesting things with pictures, you know, that kind, which is like comic books. Yeah, I like to watch TV more lah. But anyway, so like he said that like until his 30th year, he has lived in a state of almost continuous anxiety interspersed with periods of suicidal depression. Sorry, trigger warning. Yeah, but anyway, it feels now as if I am talking about some past lifetime or somebody else's life. So this only occurred when he was turning 30 years old. When I read it, I'm just like, oh, because this year I'm turning 30, you know.
Yeah, so I introduced this book to you.
Going to reach enlightenment, you know. He said like, you know, like one night not long after my 29th birthday, then he woke up, you know, and then like feeling of absolute dread, you know, and woken up with such a feeling many times before. So I mean, I'm just reading this part, right? I feel like I can relate to it sometimes, and it's not just me. I feel like maybe some of my friends may have felt this way, yeah, because within like conversations with some friends lah, then they'll be like, I wake up every day, I need to go work, very tired, very sian. But they still go on with their life feeling like that, you know? And then they just accepted that they need to, not they need to, like, they will feel like this because it's just part of their life lah. So then when I read that, just like, oh, then it made me feel like I want to continue reading. Okay, so that's that part where I felt like, okay, you know, maybe it's time for myself to look within.
What do you think he means when he says
looking within?
To be enlightened, to reach the stage of enlightenment? Because to me, it's like a very Buddhist term.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So because Eckhart also says that we shouldn't compare his words to any religions because his words are neutral, it's not religious. So like Christians shouldn't think of, you know, certain things that he say as a Christian term, or Buddhists shouldn't think of it as a Buddhist term.
Yeah.
Right? It's just he just uses the words to explain his point. So what do you think Eckhart's meaning of enlightenment mean to you?
Okay, when I read it, right, and he says that it's actually normal for your brain to kind of like compare, and also compare with your own experiences and terms that you know, and you will kind of reject it, which was what I was doing, you know. I was trying to like challenge it, like, huh? Why you tell me this thing? Like, does it even make sense? Like, does it even sound like correct? You know? But then after a while, I feel like, okay, maybe I don't know exactly how being enlightened actually feels like, but I think it's really being at peace with whatever that you are doing or whatever you are now, and not being triggered by any I guess, past traumas or experiences.
Mm.
Yeah, so any challenges or any new experience that come your way, it should be presented or like experienced as it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I think lah.
That's what you feel lah.
Yeah.
And I think all of us can have different interpretations of enlightenment.
Yeah.
There's no right or no wrong. So why I think like for Jade, she says that, being present with yourself is enlightenment. You might have a different interpretation of what enlightenment means. So if you have an interpretation of what enlightenment means and how you feel like you should, that is the state where you want to be in or be at present, do share with us as well. And we would love to hear your own ways of achieving this enlightenment. Yeah.
And then what about you, Deniece?
I think that for me, enlightenment means being congruent with your mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
So, yeah, like your physicality, because a lot of times I feel like anxiety or stress comes from when your mind and your soul does not meet. Like if they were two separate people, they would not have, they do not meet, and therefore they cannot be exist in the same state, right? Like water and oil, right? But to be enlightened to me means that your mind talks to your body. That means physically, you are not like jittery, or you are not like shivering, or you are not having any aches or pains or cramps, but you are really allowing your mind to meet. Like your mind is like, okay, your mind says maybe it's okay, and then your body says it's okay, yeah, it's relaxed, right? And then your heart can feel it. Yeah, because if your heart does not agree with your mind, then that two different states would, as if one is a boiling point and one is freezing point, like two different temperatures, right? And when there's two different temperatures, then they just cannot fuse together. It's not congruent. And so when that comes to being, then I feel like that's like your body gets very stressed because it cannot exist in the same state. Yeah. So I feel like to be enlightened means like there is this, like you are aligned.
Aligned.
Yeah, you're aligned. Your mind, your body and soul is aligned. Yeah. And so it's not from his book. This is just what I think enlightenment means, and being in this state of enlightenment.
Mind, body and soul.
Yeah. So Eckhart also actually, from the first chapter, he actually talks about this thing called "you are not your mind." He says, "Watch the thinker," which means to disengage and to detach yourself, as if your mind, you can maybe put it in front of you, whether it's floating on your hand, whatever. But you can put it in front of you, and you can be very conscious of the thoughts of your mind, as if you are looking at your mind from a third person's point of view. Yeah. Did you come across that?
I feel like that I think is a very good practice for people who are anxious, I think. Because at that point of time, let's say if you're stressed or anxious, right, then you get very overwhelmed with a lot of thoughts, which will trigger a lot of emotional responses, I guess. So you just listen to the voice in your head. Be there as the witnessing presence. Maybe if you can think of it like you are the friend, and then you have a friend that is like super anxious and like not say ranting, like just telling you their emotions or whatever they're going through, then you will listen to your friend, right?
But you will not embody the state of stress that your friend is in.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the point. Yeah, which I think it will be quite difficult to do at the start. He also mentioned that like the compulsive thinker, everybody has the capability and the means to always be thinking. Like, are you thinking of anything right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Like that. Yeah. That's just like I think what we are like wired to do, or like
it's a constant stream of thought.
Yes. In our mind, and then like he also said that actually 80 to 90% of our thinking is useless and negative.
Do you agree? Do you agree to what Eckhart said?
I mean, like, I'm just picking out points that I feel that is interesting.
Yeah.
He definitely unpacked it like a lot, and people challenged him also lah. But the point is that like if you keep being fixated in a certain point, and you keep going around, to me that's how I think. Like if you keep going around in circles with the same point, right, and then nothing comes out of it, then you just like spiral into this that negative thought.
Yeah.
Then you will just get stuck, which is why he said it's useless lah. Yeah, because you keep thinking about it, then nothing comes out of it, what? Yeah, then you will just be trapped by that idea. Yeah, which I feel like it relates to me a lot because I think I'm like that. Leh. I think too much.
I think everyone thinks a lot lah.
When I read it, I just feel like, okay, actually, you don't have to think so much about things that maybe already happened or might happen, not gonna happen or something like that. There's no point lah to be so like fixated about it. Yeah, because you just bring in the negativity lah. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you guys agree that 80 or to 90% of our thoughts are actually negative?
Useless.
Yeah, a lot of us, when we wake up, right, from the moment we wake up, we start our day in a worrisome state.
Yeah.
And we don't stop it until we go to sleep at night. And we end the day worrying as well. Can you imagine how much time is wasted just on worrying? Yeah. So let's take, for example, like you have a job. All of us have jobs now that we are in. I mean, all millennials now, you should be working. If not working, you're probably a housewife or a house husband, right?
Or you're just doing something.
So it's still work, right? You have work to do, whether it's paid or not.
Yeah.
So what is helpful, I feel that if you wake up and you have thoughts and worries about the work that you have to do today, write it down. So we practice brain dumping. A lot of us practice brain dumping where we kind of have a notebook, or a phone, basically somewhere you can just
take down notes,
pen down your thoughts. And we just write anything and everything that comes to mind. And you will realize that if you practice this exercise of brain dumping, you will essentially be emptying your mind, because you have transferred the thoughts from your mind to the paper or to something. Yeah. Of course, it is scientifically proven that if you write down on paper, it's more effective and it does something to your mind as compared to phones. But in this day and age, whatever you can do, whatever you can get your hands on.
So it's actually proven, is it? If you write it down, it's better
on paper for you remember better.
I wonder if it will change in the future when like
people will just become sillier and stupider because they just
because you don't use your hands to write down anything. That would be very sad. I'm just thinking maybe fast forward to the future, like 500 years later. I don't know. Like, is it like maybe there won't be like paper anymore? Like, so you just write it on like a holographic pad or something. Like,
I think as long as your hand is moving, writing,
right?
It has the same effect. Yeah, but because we type. Yeah, we type.
Typing
now.
Is not like a natural thing.
I think maybe typing, it does, like your brain doesn't recognize that movement because it's kinesthetic. It's not kinesthetic. It's a thumb exercise. It's not kinesthetic. So maybe it doesn't connect as much to your brain. Probably more research have to surface about it.
Maybe. Anyway.
Yeah. But do practice brain dumping because that's really important to help you to declutter your mind. Yeah. And would like you all to also be aware when you wake up. When you listen to this episode, are you commuting, or are you switching off your mind, or are you thinking about what we're saying and trying to digest and process it? Could you just live and be in the now, in the present?
The moment.
And an exercise that Eckhart also talks about in some of his interviews is to just look out and see what's around you. Do you see, like for us, do we see a laptop, a table? What is on the table? Do we see shelves? Do we see, for me, a cup of coffee? Our phones? What do we notice around us? How about ourselves? How about the way our eyebrows move, or how many pores we have on our face? Yeah. Like, how present are we in the now to even notice that there are different things and nuances in your daily routine that are different. Routine equals to things that you do by default and you do them repeatedly. So those are things that sometimes we tend to forget that there's beauty in those routines as well. Yeah, what do you think?
Exactly. I mean, I know that I'm going all over the place, but I just got reminded of like because he talks about like the body's reaction to your mind. That's about emotions. Yeah, when I first read about this part, like before this, right? Like okay, yeah, he said being at the moment and everything, but my first thought was like, so am I supposed to be emotionless? Like, do I just have no opinions? Do I just like disassociate everything? Like, even if I'm not happy at that thing, I just don't care, meh? You get what I mean? So he's just trying to say that like emotion arises at the place where mind and body meet. Okay? It's the body's reaction to your mind. Or you might say a reflection of your mind in the body. Okay, I think it's a lot to
Maybe you could give some
yeah.
examples.
So
for
the
us.
example is like an attack thought or a hostile thought will create a buildup of energy in the body that we call anger. Let's say if I like somebody was trying to accuse me of something that I didn't do. Yeah. So but at that point of time, because I think the trigger was quite heavily packed, right? So my first response was actually I wanted to fight back. I can be quite defensive lah. Yeah, but as I grew up, I feel like sometimes I don't have to do that. If not, then it will end up very ugly. Yeah. I mean that's my own process, right? So I thought like, okay, I need to respond. I need to fight for myself. I need to stand up for myself because I didn't do it. I don't like to be accused. So then I replied with like a quite a passive aggressive message, which then I regretted after that. Felt like I fell into the trap of like being acting on my emotions. So not to say that like my emotions wasn't like valid. I can feel angry, it's okay because that's emotions, right? But you don't have to act negatively on it. Yeah, maybe instead I should have just like chill a bit, cool down, and like try to like think of why am I angry and then how do I actually solve the situation lah. Yeah, instead of like acting on the emotions because it will become a negative experience.
So,
Yeah.
can you repeat the line? I think it was really a really good line about the attack and a hostile thought that Eckhart mentioned.
An attack thought or a hostile thought will create a buildup of energy in the body that we call anger.
Okay. So we all know this word called anger. I mean, with the recent case, we also know this thing called rage. She was diagnosed with rage. Rage something like
disorder.
Like even anger is also an issue that people actually need to seek help with to manage, right? We need to manage our anger because all of us get triggered by different things. I think there is no one personality that is completely at peace lah. Even if you don't show your anger, you might have internally you have internal anger or like unresolved issues and baggage over so many years, right?
Yeah.
So this build up of energy, if you take anger, this word, and you take it apart and you say, hey, this word anger is actually a build up of energy.
Yeah.
Could you see anger in a different light? Like not a friend, but maybe like maybe a durian. It has spikes, it has thorns. So you give anger like a small like personality, and then you recognize, hey, I'm angry. There is this build up of energy, and then you become the watcher watching the thinker, right? And then you say, hey, this ball of energy, what can I do with it? Could you exist in that moment and press pause, right, when you are angry, to say like, hey, okay, I have this build up of energy, it needs to go somewhere. Where does it go? Just ask yourself, where does it go? How does it go? How does it dissolve? Easier said than done, right? Especially when we are alone. I think when we're alone, we are always subjected to the mind's playground. Like our mind is like a playground, right? And if we are with someone and we voice our concern, like Jade, when she had that incident, she said, hey, blah, 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 this happened, blah, 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 right? Then I'm able to inject like the watcher, like to be the watcher, to respond to her like, hey, okay, you think about it first. Like,
she asked me, are you sure?
Yeah. Are you sure? So I guess like from this experience, are you sure seems to be a very powerful word to kind of slow you down.
Yeah, but then it didn't lah. I still texted.
Yeah, because she was sure.
Yeah, then after that, no, but then
she said she was sure.
No, but then in the end, it turned into an action of calling the person.
Yeah.
Which actually resulted it to be better lah. It's like more, it ended faster. You talk about the durian thing, right? Okay, so I just wanted to continue that he said that yes, after that you call anger, right? The bit of energy is called anger. The body is getting ready to fight. The thought that you are being threatened physically or psychologically causes the body to contract, and this is the physical side of what we call fear. So actually, the anger is driven by the fear that you have in your body. That's what I deduce lah, because you say you're being threatened.
Like an animal that has a fight or flight response.
Yeah, so I mean, because you talk about the durian, so I
Yeah.
immediately thought that because you see durian, although it has its spikes and everything, but inside actually the flesh is so soft and like very vulnerable.
So a person who is angry is actually a very vulnerable person, or you think the emotion of anger actually has a flip side to the coin.
Yeah.
It's two sides of the same coin. Vulnerability and anger, both emotions. What are you
Yeah,
trying to say that?
I think so, because like anger is triggered by fear, correct? So in order to wanting to like protect yourself, you look like so scary, like got these like spikes and everything. But actually that is because you're trying to protect your vulnerability. Yeah. So I think that's why people just become angry instead of showing that they are scared lah.
So back to the coin. So,
Yeah.
So I think Jade wanted to say that anger and vulnerability are part of the same coin.
Yes.
Flip it around. Your emotions of anger is actually you being in a very vulnerable state.
Yes.
I think it's the same where you are either guarded or not guarded, right? Because if you are guarded, you tend not to show your emotions, and that emotion can be any emotion. It can be romance, it can be happiness, right? Guarded people who are guarded don't really have like
strong emotions.
Yeah, strong emotions, and sometimes that also applies to being angry. So if you are very aware and in tune with your own physicality and your body and your triggers, then you will know when to bring the guard up, or when like it's in a safe space and you can just let your guard down and be yourself. Right?
Yeah, and then like I mean, just now we were talking off camera about like how anger can manifest, right? Like it says here like a strong unconscious emotional pattern may even manifest as an external event that appears to just happen to you. For example, he has observed that people who carry a lot of anger inside without being aware of it and without expressing it are more likely to be attacked verbally or even physically by other angry people, and often for no apparent reason. They have a strong emanation of anger that certain people pick up subliminally and that triggers their own latent anger. Sorry, I just don't know how to pronounce that. Subliminally.
Subliminally.
Subliminally. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So that one, I just felt like,
what do you think he's trying to say?
That is so scary. Like, you don't even express it, but people can feel. And they come and pick on you for no reason. That is so...
Like if you're angry, right?
Yeah. That's why like sometimes you get approached and somebody just like scold you out for no reason because there's apparently some kind of anger that you're not showing, but they can
I never
feel it.
experienced that before.
No, I'm just asking as a scenario. Like anybody experienced that before? Because... Or is it like... Because like... What if like my parents, they suddenly just look at me and they scold me? Huh? Is it like I have an anger inside me that like I didn't express to them?
Do you have that experience before?
When let's say my mom like she acts up or something, I would just think that like maybe I did something wrong. Like maybe my actions, like I didn't wash the dishes or I didn't clean up after myself, but am I angry? Maybe I was angry at my parents for scolding me. That's why they scold me back. I don't know. Maybe lah, it's just a cycle lor. When I feel anger or like irritation or being annoyed, right, I will always talk about my parents because I feel that they trigger me a lot. Yeah, so now that I'm more aware about it, right? So I always tell myself, okay, don't react first. Because it's such a habit to react. Nowadays, right, what I do is, okay, I just try to listen to the problem first and then like talk to them, like say, okay, maybe I did this, sorry, you know, or like I didn't do that, you know, maybe I can help you with something else. I realized if I don't be so emotional and like fight with them, right? Then actually nothing happened really. Like it will become a bit more peaceful. And then I'll ask my mother, why are you shouting at me? Yeah, why are you raising your voice? I also not raising my voice.
Actually, what Jade does is very different from what I do. I think when I relate to my parents, I am like the porcupine. So the porcupine is like the animal that has a lot of spikes, but actually they just don't want people to like come close to them. So I think with my parents, I'm a porcupine, and when they react to me or they scold me for no reason or they raise their voice or they're very defensive,
Yeah.
because we all have preconceived notions of each other. We
Yeah.
all prejudge each other. When someone walks into a room, you will judge the person whether you like it or not, because we are the thinkers. We are compulsive thinkers.
Yeah.
So I will not even bother to ask them why they're angry. I will just assume like it's just their fault. I will not bother. But I think what I've learned from Jade is when she says she will ask her mom after that, why do you shout at me? I think if I ask my parents, actually, why were you being defensive? Number one, maybe they're not aware that they're being defensive. Number two, maybe they didn't realize that they're coming across as defensive. Or number three, maybe they will explain their point of view, which helps me to understand their point of view and helps me to have more empathy towards them. Yeah. So I would love to hear from you guys. Like, you guys talk to your parents that way? Do you attempt to understand them? Because I don't. I have never asked why. I just always push my point of view across. Yeah. That whatever you said just made me realize that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like because all along, right, I had people telling me that I'm very scary. Or like
I never felt that way about Jade. If you listen to our first impressions, right, it's the other way around.
no lah, maybe because I'm comfortable. When I'm comfortable with people, then like maybe my opinions are strong. Like I'm not scared to say certain things to certain people lah. Like if I feel like I want to make my point across. I was like this, and then after a while I realized that you know, your opinions to some people actually don't really matter. Like I don't even want to change them, or like nothing can be done or can be changed. Like there's no point. I don't want to be so strong-headed and so emotional.
You work yourself up.
Yeah.
And then you burn the energy and you become so
Yeah.
exhausted maintaining that energy or being in that state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always on edge, right?
Yeah, on
I
edge,
always
yeah.
want to fight with people or what. Like it's very tiring.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think it's okay to be opinionated and to have an opinion, because I think that's very important to live life, to have opinions. If you don't have opinions, you are like being swayed by the wind anywhere like you go. You can have an opinion and you can be open to change that opinion. But if you don't have an opinion, then you just woon out lor.
Okay,
You
I
just
don't
don't
want that.
think
Yeah, I don't want that also.
Yeah, then you just
Yeah.
become tai oh.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's why I say, like, you know, in this part of now, they're trying to tell you don't overthink, right? Then I'm just like, what if I don't think at all?
Guys, I'm sorry, don't overthink doesn't mean don't think, guys. Don't do that.
No lah, I mean it's a joke lah. But I think it's very funny.
I think we need to attempt to have that off switch where when we switch it off, right, we can exist in the void of just floating where we are and like you know. And imagine if you practice this at work. This power of now is actually touted as the foundation of the mindfulness practice, because it is a state of mind that you need to practice. It does not just come to us naturally to be non-compulsive thinkers, to like exist in a mental void. But if you practice this in your workplace, can you imagine how much happier you would be? Because you will stop looking at the things that are not working for you and exist and see people for who they are. Right? Can you imagine if you don't see people for who they are and it's just like the work? Like you will just be very unhappy. Yeah. For me, it's people. So I would want to see people as they are humans and not robots and not machines.
Of course not.
Yeah. But we don't have that time or the bandwidth to do it at work. It's just non-stop hustle. And if you are working remotely, who do you look at? You can't look at anybody.
Turn on the camera, look at yourself.
Yeah. So
Put the mirror in front of you. Sorry.
and that makes a good point. When we talk about the mirror, I think Eckhart talks about, I don't have my notes on that, but I have heard that like different podcasts said about a mirror, like, you know, holding up a mirror to yourself. Will you scold the mirror?
No.
Yeah. So I think the point is, when you see people, you hold up as if you look at them and as if you're looking to a mirror.
Oh.
Yeah. When you want to react just hold the mirror up. Yeah. Like, will you go and KNMBCCB or just, you know, like kill them or something? You know, there's a lot of murders going around now. It's crazy. Yeah, like husband murdering kids,
children, wife,
burning the family.
Yeah, a lot.
In Singapore, it's no longer Hansel and Gretel. It's no longer in fairy tales. It's in real life. And everybody cites mental illness lah. Everybody says, oh, okay, I have a mental illness, so therefore I'm entitled and I'm justified for my actions. Because the lawyers use it as an argument. Yeah, but
okay,
very far-fetched, but if they practice mindfulness and they can find a coach or find somebody that can help them to practice mindfulness, say, hey, you are not your mind. So what if you have a mental illness? Can you be the watcher and watch your mind? Sounds a bit schizo, but like, watch your mind, see the playground. And we mentioned this in another episode before about what Corinne said. He said, watch your mind and take your kopi, sit down, chill, and just watch your mind go crazy. Yeah, and like what you say, right? Listen to your thoughts.
Yeah.
Just listen and watch the drama unfold.
I mean, like, everything is about like like habits, right?
Habits, yeah. You practice.
Exactly. So if you wanna like sing that song super well, you just sing it 100 times or you sing it every day. It becomes a habit. So everything like your mind, body, and soul will remember it.
So this is training your mind to practice and to exist in a state of mindfulness where you can watch the thinker. Yeah.
Being at
so
the moment.
What is accessing the power of now? I have this note about it. It says, to free yourself from your mind, you need to learn to observe it impartially. So be objective. And just watch it as if, like what Jade said, you're talking to a friend. Like your mind is your friend. Constantly ask yourself, what is going on inside me at this moment? And am I at ease at this moment? So just before this episode, I sent out a message that could potentially trigger somebody to blast at me. It's not my fault, not his fault. It's just the situation is not the best, like, for both of us, right? Me and someone else. So I am in a state of like anxiousness now to think, okay, I've tried my best to be professional in sending out the message, but you will never know how the receiver receives the message, right? So will he like suddenly blast at me, he or she? I don't know. And that is why I guess doing AMM is so powerful for the two of us, because every episode that we're doing, we are learning something. We're not sharing with you experiences from 10 years ago. We're sharing with you experiences from now.
That is now.
Yes, and that is why to us mental wellness is so important, because as we find out these interesting things to practice. Okay, I think it's beyond interesting. These powerful tools to practice, right? We actually get more control of ourselves, be more aware, and are able to kind of be happier. I think at the end of the day, you are happier when you can exist in the now, and you are happier when you can find that balance within, right? Jade talked about from the beginning, look within. Yeah, don't just go about your day like running as if you are like running a race or a marathon. Yeah, it can feel like that. It can feel like the walls are collapsing on you. And it can feel like that at any moment, especially for girls, when you PMS, wow. I don't know why, like everything past and future, right, doesn't exist
to you.
Yeah, it's just like suddenly at that moment you just want to cry, then you just cry, you know, like, yeah.
Well, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Just cry lor, then after that, at least you release it and then you can reflect and then just, Yeah, so ask yourself, like what Eckhart says, what is going on inside your mind at this moment? Be aware. Let your mind go crazy, go wild.
but detach yourself from your mind and acknowledge it, accept. One of the big concepts in this book is acceptance. Just let it be. Yeah, just accept and live in this moment. Someone shouts at you, let it be. Like, okay, you acknowledge the fear, you acknowledge it, and you're like, okay, Deniece is feeling scared now. Okay, how are you feeling? How are you uncomfortable? How does this fear make you think, make you feel? Follow it, and then see where it leads you. But be present, not like I'm scared now. Fight up, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, the chicken want to cross the road. Just cross. But if the chicken was more aware of the cars that are coming,
stop and look right
stop
and left
look first.
and right.
I don't know if chickens can turn their head. Can they turn their head? I know
they can.
Chickens can turn their head. Fun fact: I had a chicken for one night before because of a shoot.
Huh? Say,
I kept a chicken,
right.
in my house for one night. My mum really loved the chicken. She just sat there and
really,
just talked to the chicken while it kept shitting.
Oh my god!
We were like, where to put the chicken now? But it was really fun. I really loved the shoot. It was with brands. That's why brands as
nice.
I would love to do more this kind of shoots in future. Focus on the now involves several components. Number one, stop creating time.
Oh.
Okay, what does that mean? Learn to withdraw attention from the past. So don't focus too much on the past or the future when it's not needed. You are creating it. It's already over already. You are recreating it.
True.
Yeah, do not dwell on your goals. For example, our goals is to hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. Yeah. Don't dwell on it. Or depend on them for fulfillment.
This will work a lot, right, for people nowadays on social media.
Yes.
Like, don't focus on the likes, the follows, and all this kind of like validation, right?
Don't depend on them for your fulfillment, happiness, or even self-identity. You are not your followers. You are not your likes. Yeah, you are not your likes. You're not your subscribers. You are you. Don't exist for them.
Yeah, you are you.
Because of you. Manifest it so that people will be attracted to who you are.
Exactly. Like, I just got reminded of YYY show. You are the you was you.
Yeah. Okay, it says next part says, instead, focus on the now. Accept your present situation as if you had chosen it. So if you are overthinking and you are procrastinating, accept that you have chosen to procrastinate.
Yeah, I have chosen to procrastinate.
And how do you feel after saying that? You don't feel like very stressed, right?
At that point of time,
like say now you're procrastinating on a task, right? And then you accept it. You won't feel as stressed, right? I wouldn't feel as stressed. Like, I chose it. Yeah, I chose to procrastinate.
When you told me that you accepted that, like, sometimes I'll procrastinate and I'll do things slowly, right? You say you accepted.
Okay, we need to give the listeners some context. Why did I tell Jade that I accept her procrastinating and all that? Okay, so the context is because we are in a very close relationship, both as a friend and as business partners, right? And I was telling her, like, in a marriage, how do you not kill each other? In a marriage, because it's so tempting to just either survive in a loveless marriage or just take action and like harm the other person because you just cannot stand him.
Because you know their weak points.
Yeah, correct. And exploit their weaknesses or manipulate. So I was telling Jay, I said, it's acceptance. You have to accept. Even if the person has flaws, when you accept it, you don't dwell on it. And it's not a negative acceptance. It's just like, okay, it's just neutral. You neutralize. When we started working together in a very intense way, right? She keeps telling me that she will overthink, she'll procrastinate. At first, I didn't feel that way. I didn't even think about it. But because she keeps saying, right, then I started to like, okay, let me notice how she procrastinates. And then after that, right, when there were instances where she really didn't do certain things that she said she wanted to do, right, I just like, oh, okay, I just accept it. I mean, it's a lot easier to accept Jade than my husband lah, because it's closer contact. This is a colleague. Okay, one is like, to me, it's already okay. Yeah, so just accept and then just adjust expectations. Yeah, so this is the context of why I said like, just accept. Yeah, so you were saying, yeah, after I said it.
So because like I will always beat myself up like, I never do again, or like, I'm so slow. So I decided to tell myself to focus on what I've done or what I'm doing.
Cool.
Yeah. So I feel like I became a bit more productive lah.
Nice.
Like to plan out the things that I want to do. And if I think we also mentioned before, if let's say you have 10 things to do, but you manage to do 5.
Yeah.
That's very good already. So that's what I've always been telling myself. Like every day, like, okay, I have 10 things to do, right? If I can achieve 5 things, I'll be very happy already. With that thought, actually, I do more than 5. Yeah, I do more than 5 lah, which is great, lor. Yeah, now that I feel like I haven't really fully accepted my procrastination thing, but I feel like it's getting better. Even if I accept it or not, because to me, like innately, I want to overcome it lah. I don't want to be a procrastinator, so I still want to fight that, and not totally like accept it. Yeah, so maybe I can accept like halfway. Yeah, halfway.
Yeah, I think acknowledging it is being self-aware is the first step. And that's what I tell my husband also. You know, guys, they don't really like to vocalize their emotions. Then when they talk about their emotions, right, it's like, to me, it's like diamonds. It's a diamond moment. Yeah, and like very excited when guys talk to me about their emotions and their thoughts. I'm like, yes, let's talk about it. Let's be sisters. Yeah. So when my husband talks about it, right, I get to blah, 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 all these things that we have been learning and share with him about like power of now, share with him about acceptance, share with him about self-awareness.
So was it end up you talking or he talked?
Oh, I try not to talk too much. So I just like, maybe I have 10 things. I just try to choose one thing to say.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to balance. Yeah.
Because he's trying to tell you, right?
Yeah, I cannot turn him away. I need to fish. But I need to, more from a point of view of like affirming and drawing out. He's like helping him to be self-aware that he has it in him. So when I talk to him, I say, see, yeah, this is actually a good point that you mentioned, because Jade and I just talked about it in our podcast, and we talked about self-awareness, and you are showing that you are self-aware. So don't worry too much about the future, because you are already aware that this situation exists. So you will definitely, your brain, your mind, your body also will take action to either be in the situation or not be in the situation or change the situation somehow. Yeah. So I try to draw that out from, because I guess when you like, this is the technique that I learned last time in counseling, because I had like brief like counseling modules. Like when you help the person to realize themselves, they will seal in the learning more than when you tell them this is not the way, this is not the way, this is not the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our parents lah will tell them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But then how if you have a more Socratic approach, which is to ask questions, what do you think this means? What do you think? Why do you do this? And then the person just have to answer lor. Like, because then suddenly something in their mind click. Yeah, so that's why I feel like it's good. I don't know why I went into like the husband mode.
Yeah, it's okay.
And okay, so the last part here says, be present and act with present moment awareness, inverted commas, present moment awareness. Learn to direct your focus fully into the present moment, such that you are alert, aware, but not thinking. It's interesting, huh? Alert, aware, but not thinking. Are you alert, aware now? Are you thinking?
You know what? The word alert, aware is just in my head. Be alert and aware, just like alert, aware, alert.
Yeah. I think if you're like in front of your boss, right? Your boss and then download all the anger to you, right? Then you just alert, aware.
Alert, aware,
right?
alert,
you
aware.
just like you're zoning out.
So it's the same thing like if like your parents are angry, alert, aware. Then after that you never listen to them, then how?
Yeah. Because you're not processing the information. Then after that, right, you will come back with a very annoying question. What do you say?
What do you say? Then you'll be more angry. I mean, I'm glad that like Deniece like brought this topic up, and I'm exposed to this book. So I will go and finish it, and hopefully try to apply it to myself, and see if there's any kind of changes. Maybe not now. Maybe it will take some time, but I mean, I look forward to. So hope that y'all can share with us also about your enlightenment.
Yeah.
And now Deniece will end off with
something cool from this article. It says from Eckhart's book, when you find yourself in an unhappy situation, okay, this is the interpretation of Eckhart's quote, which is if I tell you all the quote, then like it will be very woo-woo. Okay, so I will share with you all this author's interpretation. When you find yourself in an unhappy situation, you can either remove yourself from the situation. So number one, either remove. So you'd be like, is there a superhero that has disappearing powers? Superman.
Oh.
All of them.
I think
can fly.
I think disappearing powers
Okay, so either you'll be a superhero.
Nightcrawler?
Maybe.
Nightcrawler? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can either remove yourself, change it, or accept it. No complaining, no bickering, no feeling bad. I love this. No complaining,
No
bickering.
feeling bad.
No need to fight. If someone wants to be bad to you or like be unpleasant to you, just let it be. And then no feeling bad. Don't guilt trip yourself. Nobody guilt tripping you. You don't guilt trip yourself. You either leave it, change it, or accept it for what it is. So this author says he uses this framework to deal with unpleasant realities. And the second one that I wanted to end with is compulsive thinking, which goes back to what Jade talked about. We are all compulsive thinkers. Compulsive thinking is the norm. Most of us spend majority of our time in our heads, in your
Hey,
zombie.
Okay, anyway.
Instead of being highly alert and free of thought, both of which are requirements of being in the present moment, right? So instead of being highly alert and free, we allow our consciousness to bring us into the mental noise that clutters our days. So we just allow ourselves to just be very noisy in our minds. But if we learn to escape the collective disease of compulsive thinking, we can better listen and live in the
Oh my god.
present.
Internal temperature. What's up? Oh, my camera. Yay! So my camera died, so that's why I'm here.
Okay, we hope you like this one, Being Present in the Now, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Follow us on our social media, Instagram, TikTok, A Millennial.mess, our Telegram group, A Millennial Mess as well. Okay, like, follow, subscribe, everything, turn on your notification bell. Listen to our past episodes about fear and about abusive relationship with Zionet.
Yeah. And tell us how you have grown after listening to our podcast.
The power of now.
Okay, bye!